Good evening, good afternoon, good something. Get the music come down here. Welcome to another episode of The Melancholy Guy. And I welcome you to The Melancholy Guy, a companion podcast to my Tumblr blog, The Melancholy Guy, daring to be black, hey, open and free. The adventures of a divorced, open, polyamorous African American male. I am the melancholy guy, Calvin or CPJR, if you really know me, and I welcome you once again to my little podcast that I do 3 times a week. Basically, little 15-minute shows that are um, a companion to my Tumblr blog that I've been writing. Basically, the blog is about me going into the ethical non-monogamy lifestyle after spending the majority of my lifestyle trying to be monogamous as possible. And, I probably should go into some of those stories, but I will at a later date. But I want to go right now and stick to the format. Basically, it's a 15-minute show right now, as I said before, because um, I'm basically using the free version of the hosting sites software, which is Spreaker, and they basically will allow you to record 15-minute shows and post those. So I'm doing 15-minute podcasts for now until I eventually upgrade, go pro, and then I'll stretch this one out probably to about, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to an hour. I don't know how much you could take me talking about basically my life, and but the goal, like I said, is to create a podcast studio, podcast spaces for people in this area to come together and record podcasts or music or whatever. But that is my goal. That is what I'm going to do. So right now I'm going to go into my blog, The Melancholy Guy, which can be found at melancholyguy.tumblr.com. And I was speaking last week on, or I went into, excuse me for the coughing thing. I was speaking much more about how I went into or started drinking into my marriage and how that was such a huge thing, and it was an, I guess for me it was a big issue because I spent a lot of time doing it, and I think I lost a lot of time because, like I said before in the previous podcast, for me, I always say, or I know that drinking more than 3 days. I don't mean 3 days straight. I mean like go to work, come home, have a drink for 3 days straight, and shit gets weird. That goes for anything I do, smoking marijuana or anything like that. Me on a consistent basis, shit gets weird. I literally like to be a keep a clear head about me. I think I'm more productive that way, but of course, if I go into my emotional things, and I will let that cloud my judgment about what's going on, and then it compounds, especially with alcohol as a depressant. So it basically compounds and gets worse. It's just a never ending cycle that I went down into instead of addressing the issues, which I'm going to talk about today. And I think I wanted to start this out by reading an actual entry from the blog. It was 7 years ago, so it was about 2010, and I think it was towards the end of 2010. Like I said, the blog was heavily edited, and I had a bunch of, like, I don't know if you've been on Tumblr before, but you do like the reblogs, all that kind of stuff. And I think I did that, and I was doing some auto posting from Twitter and even Facebook, I think, and Instagram. That just made it junky, and it lost purpose. It just turned into another platform for me to dump junk, which is what I'm using other platforms for now, like Facebook. Yeah, my main platform right now is Instagram, and I think you can find me under um, Calvin Pierce or Kyle Pierce, something like that. Anyway, I'll maybe put that in the show notes on Spreaker, in the notes on Spotify. No, Spotify. I'm sorry, SoundCloud, something like that. If you want to follow me on that platform. That's my main platform right now that I post just images and memes that I find helpful for me that may be helpful to you. Anyway, so this goes to show why my blog was named the Melancholy Guy, and this was I think at the end of 2006. I'm gonna read this very short. Um, and this is the blog entry, no title. If this country is supposed to be about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, why do so many people have a problem with what makes other people happy? Doesn't this seem like a contradiction? Your pursuit of happiness upsets me. Are we really free? One thing I always ask a lot. Ask yourself, why do you really care about how someone else lives their life? And would you accept someone telling you how to live? And that's interesting that I wrote this 6 years ago at the end of the 7 years, 2011. And this is where we are now. We haven't progressed anywhere. We have the same thing going on. Basically, right out of the headlines. I mean, people are upset about other people and how other people live and how other people, pursue happiness. It's crazy to me that, if you're, and I think it's indicative of how unhappy people actually are, that they're transferring their unhappiness onto other people. Like and then if you're unhappy, you're gonna look at reasons why. And I think that's some of the things that I've been dealing with over the past year in my relationships. I'm unhappy, so I would point the finger or come up with a reason why this isn't working out. Well, basically, it's on me. I mean, I wasn't pursuing my happiness. Pursuing relationships for me, which I thought was my happiness, is not my happiness. Me having relationships because I am happy is my happiness. I need to write that down. So basically, no, building life is important to me. Relationships come, and they are best when they happen organically. So that's interesting to me that Dad wrote that in 2011, and that was the end of that year. And that brought about a major shift because the very next entry in that, a very short one line entry 6 years ago, I wrote, I had to flip the script, turn the page, and start a new chapter. Boom. That's the beginning of 2011. And I'm gonna go ahead and just say that because I'm at the end of this segment, the blog, and just say that that was the beginning of truly doing the work to open up the marriage, and basically that was a trip because uh, that was when I just started, just like I need to do these certain things and to be happy, and if you want to continue this marriage, that's what we're gonna have to do, or I'm gonna have to do. Just let me know your boundaries. And we were speaking in those terms even before we opened up, or I opened up. I think I may have been cruelly speaking of those boundaries due to the fact that I was already had started doing the work of reading and educating myself on what um, non-monogamy was and how to live your life non-monogamously, and how to open up a relationship. So it's interesting that shift that I wrote that little entry right before the next entry, which I'll go into on the next broadcast, which will be tomorrow because today is Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. I was supposed to do this yesterday, but I'm a day off. So I'll talk about that tomorrow, how that was a major shift. And that's why I'm reading this blog, because it parallels my life and some of the things that I was going through. I'm not talking about everything I was going through, everything that we were going through in our marriage, but so that's what was going on. And I'll read the next entry tomorrow. It is going to show how, boom, 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 here we go down that road into non-monogamy, swinging, polyamory, all that stuff. and how shit got real. So down to 5 minutes. This time goes really fast, so I can't wait to be able to get more time. So I want to just talk about where I am right now in my life in these last few 5 minutes or so. But basically, I'm at an interesting point. Like I've stated before, I'm unemployed, looking for a job now. Actually went on a very good interview today. Um, it was great. It was actually great. I hope I get this job. I really want to get a job that I think I can grow in this time, something that I'm very interested in, and this was actually that job. It would be a dream job for me to use my skills and some other interests that I have as far as my side company and my side hustle, my side business. It lines up perfectly with that, and I only hope or well, I know this is my job. I had a very good, rapport with the director and his assistant, and went very well. And I'm optimistic. Like I said, I'm not concerned. Like money's tight, but I have all that I need, and it'll definitely work out. So the last 3 minutes I have, I'm also want to talk about tomorrow is the first, and I talked about it earlier. I'm doing the 30-day challenge. So every 30 days, I'm gonna start a new challenge, something different, something that I haven't done before. Basically, this first challenge for me is going to be doing my 10,000 steps every day. I wear a Fitbit and I normally do my steps. I just raised it to 10,000. And since I've done that, I have not made 10,000 steps. So I'm committing to make 10,000 steps every day for 30 days and then beyond. Um, for me, like I said, since I'm not working right now, that means I have to get out and do it. When I'm working, it's easy because I'm in IT. I'm never sedentary. I'm moving around the office all day, down 2 minutes. So this is going to be a good thing. Um, I also want to talk about also for my 30-day challenge, I'm gonna flip it a little bit, little change on it, make a little something else for me. I'm also gonna not do something for 30 days. Something that I think is a habit that it's probably not a bad habit, but just something that I think should be curtailed in my life. So I'm also not gonna do something for 30 days. Due to the nature of this show and this being out in the open, I'm not gonna say what this is not gonna be for 30 days because it is a bit personal, but it's not important. Some people would say it's not a bad deal, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that just not gonna do that for 30 days. So I'm gonna do something, not do something. Starting now, 12/1. I'll report back tomorrow or whenever I do the next podcast how I did, and hopefully some other people will pick up and get to moving for 30 days. Do something different for 30 days. Change your life. Change you must or die you will. Some people may recognize that. So, um, on to the next about podcasting. Just wanted to give a shout out always to bensound.com for the music. I want to be consistent with that. And I want to recommend two podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis. The podcast I listen to the most every week is Inner Whole Uprising. I can't give them enough praise. They're dope as hell. Then a new one I'm picking up, Spiritual Homegirl, dope as hell. Both available on SoundCloud. Inner Horizon is also available on Stitcher. So that's it for me today. I'll be posting this around. You can find my blog on the melancholyguy.tumblr.com. It's been great doing this show. And if you listen to it, thanks. If you don't, thanks for that too. I appreciate you. Always remember to love and respect yourself first, and everything else will take care of itself.